I would like to call the May 3rd, 2021 meeting of Cumberland County Board of Commissioners to order and welcome everyone. We'll ask Commissioner Lancaster if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, if I may. I'd like to welcome Dr. Stewart back, who has had some hospitalization. My good friend, Dr. Cancel, and her husband, Mr. Tom, who is present in the hospital. And I have had recent surgery, and I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. And for anybody here this morning that might have special prayers, we're praying for you also. And if you would, pray with me. Father, we pray that you come fill our lives with your love. And Father, fill our conversations with your grace and truth. Fill this meeting with your presence. And Father, fill us with your tender mercy and blessings as we move forward to this meeting. We ask these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me with the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, County Manager.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Item number 1 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Can I get a motion?
motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Unanimous. Item number 2 are presentations. This morning we have a presentation by Dr. Jennifer Green, our Public Health Director, as an update on COVID-19 and our vaccination clinics. Good morning, Dr. Green.
Madam Manager, before we get started on that, could I make the statement, please? As Health Director, Dr. Jennifer Green comes forward to give an update on COVID-19. I am happy to report that all county offices reopened to the public today and resumed in-person services. As more people are vaccinated, life will slowly begin to resemble how it was before COVID-19. However, for many people, their lives will not be the same, and so last week, the county held a vigil to remember the almost 300 Cumberland County residents who have died from the virus, and to resolve to help to keep their families in our thoughts and prayers. Dr. Green, thank you so much for being with us today, and for all of you and your department, for all of what you and your department is doing to help our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. I appreciate the opportunity to provide you an update on our COVID-19 vaccination efforts and the status of COVID in our community. So we will start with the data. This chart shows our Cumberland County or the State Health Department's county alert system. And on the chart, on the map, you can see the color-coded indications which reflect the amount of community spread. So Cumberland County is in the orange. This was updated on Friday. We have moved in from yellow to orange, which is in the wrong direction. This means that we have substantial impact of COVID in our community. So that's concerning to us, so we'll continue to monitor that county alert system. In the last 7 days, we've had 644 cases compared to the last 14 days, which is 1,090 cases. So you can see that we've had an uptick in our cases in the last several weeks. Our case positivity rate as of yesterday was at 9.1%. Again, we want that number to be closer to 5%. We've seen that number tick up over time. About a month ago, we were in the 6% range. We've had 299 members of our community pass away due to COVID. We have launched additional test sites. So back in December, the health department suspended our test site so we can shift to vaccinations, but testing continued. We worked with our state health department vendor to continue to launch additional test sites available in our community. So these are 3 newer test sites that, one of them is not new, but just picked back up again. 3 test sites that are being sponsored by our state health department vendor, OptumServe. No appointment is required for any of these test sites, and of course it's at no cost. So on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we are at Fayetteville Abney Chapel on Rose Hill Road. We are back at Manna Church on Tuesdays through May 25th. And then we have been at Beauty Spot for the last month or so on Tuesdays and Thursdays through May 27th over on Rayford Road. So 3 new test sites. There are new test sites popping up all over the county. Sometimes it's challenging to keep up with them, but so there is testing capacity, but we have certainly seen a decline in the number of people that are turning out to get tested. A piece I want to point out as we start to talk about vaccinations is where our demographics are in terms of the number of, or the age breakdown. So what we've heard from our state health department officials, and it's true in Cumberland County, is that young people between the ages of 18 to 49 are really driving the case count right now. They make up about 62% of our cases are among young people. In the reverse, young people are less likely, are the largest group of individuals to be unvaccinated, and partly because they became eligible later than our older adults, so that is accurate. But on the graph on the right-hand side, you can see the percent of population broken down by age. So the darker green and the darkest blue color are our individuals that are over the age of 65, and you can see almost by the week when they became eligible, and they have a high percentage of that population vaccinated. So about 66% of our individuals over 65 and older are vaccinated. In contrast, among 18 to 24-year-olds, only about 11% of our 18 to 24-year-olds are vaccinated. So that's really where we'll see a lot of our attention being focused in getting our young people vaccinated, and I'll talk about a couple of our efforts in that area. So a quick Johnson & Johnson update. You may have heard from the CDC and the FDA over the last couple of weeks. We had a pause on our J&J vaccination efforts due to some rare events of blood clots that we found in 15 different women. So since April, this slide is from last Tuesday, so the numbers have ticked up a bit. But since last Tuesday, up to last Tuesday, 7.98 million J&J doses have been administered. Out of that, the CDC and the FDA determined there were 15 confirmed cases of these rare blood clots, and we abbreviate the syndrome called TTS. All of the women, all were women. Most of them were between the ages of 18 to 49. About 13 out of the 15 cases, and 2 cases were out of women ages 15 and older. So the CDC's advisory committee met to review the data and the research. They actually met twice. And then they ultimately determined that the risk of administering J&J was much lower than the benefit. So the benefit, I have that slide backward, the benefits outweighed the risk there. And we can expect that there may be additional cases of TTS, but if we think about it in terms of the number of deaths we can prevent by getting individuals vaccinated versus the number of individuals that may pass away, though they are serious and important, that ultimately the benefits outweigh the risk here. And depending on, of course, those rates are going to depend on how many people take it, but we have an opportunity here to reduce ICU admissions and death. So what the CDC and the FDA said was that they're going to continue to recommend that people over the age of 18 get J&J. They did add a warning to what we call the emergency use authorization fact sheet that everybody gets at the vaccine site, that there are these rare blood clot events. And the reason for the pause was to get the healthcare workforce ready to receive and treat these blood clots should they appear. So we will resume our administration. Actually, we're doing that today, right about now. we paused our J&J efforts. We actually only administered for one day, and then the next day after we started administering, the pause took place. So we will resume that today at the health department. We will take individuals that are interested in having J&J. As I said, the resumption of that came with a warning that for women under the age of 50, and we also counsel them that you are able to receive any FDA-approved vaccine, which would be Moderna or Pfizer, but you could also choose to receive J&J as well, and that they should be aware of the risk for blood clots. And we want people to, if you recently got the J&J vaccine, by that we mean in the last couple of weeks, to be aware of symptoms, headache, abdominal pain, leg pain. This is different than those immediate symptoms. Usually the symptoms come 6 to 12 days after your vaccine. So it's not that immediate when you're at the vaccine site or that evening. It comes much later. And we want people to continue to go to their Moderna and Pfizer appointments, of course. There's been no impact on Moderna or Pfizer. So where are we within Cumberland County? We have more than 17 providers of COVID vaccine in more than 20 different locations, because some providers are in multiple locations, of course. Walmart, Walgreens, of course, the health department continues to administer. Now we have J&J, our hospital, Stedman Wade, Goshen, Shrayheck, and many, many others. Fort Bragg continues to administer. So we have a wide range of vaccinations available in our community. Most providers have supply on hand. There are some providers that may only get 100 doses a week, but most providers have vaccine available. Our vaccination schedule is shifting just a bit. So you've seen this slide before, but we have a little bit of an update we're very excited about. So Tuesdays, we continue to do second doses out at the Crown. Wednesdays, the same thing. We will take walk-ins all day. We continue to schedule appointments for those that want one, but we'll also take walk-ins as well. On April the 27th, or April the 23rd was our last Friday at the Crown. So we're shifting to more of a model where we're going out to do different outreach clinics, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But we can still, but we'll be at the Crown on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So a few weeks ago, the governor launched his Bring Back Summer campaign, and this was really a strategy to get safe, effective, and free vaccines to the community. And in order to be able to get back to 4th of July and Labor Day and all of these other holidays that we typically love to do and enjoy, they've launched this campaign that comes with posters and materials that community organizations can get from the state health department to promote these vaccines and getting our community members vaccinated. The governor has set a target to get 2/3 of our adults with at least one dose of vaccine before June 1st. So that's the target and that's the goal. So we have worked with our PIO department to get posters printed for our downtown businesses, which typically attract a younger population. As I mentioned, that's where we have some work to do. So that's hopefully those are getting printed now. We've reached out to Cape Fear Valley and their partnerships to get these posters put up in barber shops. We're working with our school district to do the same, to get these flyers sent out to all of our school children, and then also their parents as well, and get the posters put up in schools. We're working on some digital ads and in English and Spanish, and then getting some interviews ready that we will perform in, or that we will conduct in both in English and in Spanish. So I mentioned that we shifted our Fridays away from the Crown. We're continuing to we're replacing that with outreach clinics. So last Friday, we were in Spring Lake, and we'll be back in Spring Lake in a couple more weeks. So we've got 3 clinics planned in Spring Lake. This week, we will start with Mondays doing J&J at the health department. And again, that will be by appointment, because we're still screening and limiting the number of people that can be in our building. And we want to make sure we have plenty of space to social distance folks, but they can make a same-day appointment. If they arrive, we'll help them make an appointment that day. And then Thursday, we will be back at operation. Inasmuch this Thursday, we owe them some second doses, and then we'll be administering J&J there as well. On Friday, we'll be at Family Fellowship Church. We targeted this site because Shaw Heights is a neighborhood that the State Health Department gave us some data by census tract and said, hey, this is an area where we have a lower vaccination rate. So we'll be at Shaw Heights on Friday. And then next week, or this Thursday, we'll be at Fayetteville Housing Authority. We've got a couple of weeks scheduled at Fayetteville Housing Authority. And then Fayetteville Urban Ministry will be in 2 more weeks, or next Friday we'll be at Fayetteville Urban Ministry. And again, for the same reason, that was an area where the State Health Department shared data with us and said there are fewer people vaccinated in that particular neighborhood. So we'll be out there throughout the month of June, or throughout the month of May. So in total, we have 77,608 residents at least partially vaccinated. That's 23.1% of the population, and then 65,000 fully vaccinated. I'll note, and as we said before, this does not include individuals from the VA or Fort Bragg. We've requested that data from the state on several occasions. Of course, that has to come from the federal level, but they don't have that data, so therefore we can't share that with you. This is an undercount to be sure. And these are vaccinations that were done through last Friday. So just 2 more quick slides on data. This is a breakdown by race. So we can see that about a little more than 1/3 of our shots have gone into the arms of African Americans. We're overrepresented on American Indian and Asian Pacific Islander individuals, or I'm sorry, just Asian Pacific Islander. And then in terms of ethnicity, one of the pieces that we're really making sure we're targeting is our Hispanic community. About 6.3% of our vaccinations have gone to those that identify as Hispanic. That's increased week over week. And you heard us share a little bit about our campaign to get that community vaccinated. We're doing some more radio interviews, doing some more messaging in English and Spanish to make sure that we get those individuals vaccinated. And Lisa Childers is in the room, and she has been fantastic with helping us getting our farm workers vaccinated. And so we've got some work to do there, but we have a plan in place to make sure that we increase those numbers. So that is all I have, and I'll stop for questions.
Is there any questions from the board? Yes, Commissioner Keefe.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Green. Okay, a couple things. I couldn't see exactly from the slide, but I'm sure that our older population is vaccinated at a much higher rate.
Correct, about 2/3.
About 2/3.
Yes, that's correct.
So the CDC, if you're trying to follow it, it's like touching mercury. Sometimes it changes. And your understanding right now is if you were vaccinated and you were in a position, indoors, outdoors, can you just kind of sum that up for a little bit? And I want you to follow it up with what keeps you up at night type of thing, because the young people not getting the vaccine seems to be the tipping point.
Yes. So the face mask guideline says indoors, if you are vaccinated, in general, we want you to wear a mask when you're in public spaces. That's for everybody vaccinated or not vaccinated. When you are outdoors, that is what changed last week. The CDC said when you're outdoors, you do not have to wear a mask. That is a lower risk. Very few people have contracted COVID, that we can trace it, when they are outdoors. So they recommended, and we heard this reflected in the governor's changing of the mandate, that outdoors you do not have to wear a mask. The piece that changed about indoor mask wearing is when you are vaccinated. So when you are inside with one other household that's unvaccinated, then you do not have to wear your mask. So inside, if I'm vaccinated, and then my grandma is unvaccinated, we want to put the mask on. And maybe it's grandma, we're at a family reunion, then we want to put the mask on. Because just one other unvaccinated household, you can take your mask off. But grandma is high risk, so we want to put the mask on. So it's about where you are and then who else is there. So if it's more than one other unvaccinated household, you want to put that mask on. Or if the unvaccinated person is high risk. So my grandma, because she has heart disease and is over the age of 65, she's high risk, so I want to put the mask back on.
So if I can follow up on that.
Yes.
So having the vaccine,
Yeah.
you can find a statistic to prove any point that you want
Correct.
somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, but having the vaccine, you're still able to get COVID, and are you still able to pass COVID?
Yes, both of those things are true because, as you said, we can make statistics say anything we want because no vaccine is 100%.
Absolutely.
So if you got Johnson & Johnson, we're about 66% effective. Pfizer, Moderna, about 94, 95% effective. So yes, you can still get COVID, especially it's about the timing of the vaccine as well. So we know it takes about 2 weeks for you to get fully vaccinated after your second dose. So if you get exposed 3 days before your second dose, you are not reached that full level of protection. So, and we call those breakthrough cases when somebody is fully vaccinated 2 weeks after their second dose, and then they still get COVID. So it happens. It's rare, but it's not impossible for it to happen. So we still want to have that extra layer of protection. And the other practicality I think about the mask wearing is we can't look at somebody unless you're like me and you have your button on that says, I've been vaccinated. So how do I know, unless I know those people, whether somebody is vaccinated and to take my mask on or take my mask off? So I think that's the kind of the practicality of it. The thing that keeps me up at night is getting our young people vaccinated. We've had lots of conversations one-on-one in groups and big meetings about hesitancy. We had the opportunity to meet with the Fayetteville State football players to do a presentation for them and just do a Q&A. And that keeps me up at night. If we're going to make it to the 2/3, we're a long way from 2/3 with 11% of our 18 to 24-year-olds vaccinated. And they're all getting ready to scatter back from college campuses. We've worked with Fayetteville Tech, Methodist, Fayetteville State to get their students vaccinated. And we've just seen a drop-off in demand with young people, but just in general too, of getting people vaccinated. And I worry that we've just gotten too tired and that we're struggling to get that last little bit of the way. That makes me lose sleep.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are there any more questions for Dr. Green from the board? If not, thank you, Dr. Green.
Thank you.
Yes.
Our next presentation is by Ms. Lisa Childers, Cooperative Extension Director. And each morning meeting, as you know, we're highlighting county departments and services, and we thought this was timely with spring and planning and that type of thing. So welcome, Ms. Childers.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me this morning. I'd like to take just a moment and share a little bit about Cooperative Extension. We're going to start with just a trivia question. I'm going to show you a quick video and then give you a few closing remarks. So the first question I have for you, what are the 2 land-grant universities in North Carolina?
A&T and NC State.
I heard it, that's right.
Well, it's on
NC
there.
I went to one of them, that's why I knew that. I went to one of them. I went to NC State.
That's right. So what is North Carolina Cooperative Extension? North Carolina Cooperative Extension brings the capacities of North Carolina's 2 land-grant institutions, North Carolina State University and North Carolina A&T State University. We are located in all 100 counties. So all counties that you go into, you're going to see a Cooperative Extension office, and they focus on these 3 major areas, one being agriculture, one being family consumer sciences, or what we call foods and nutrition, and finally 4-H and youth development. So with that, I'm going to pause for a moment, and I'm going to show you a quick video, and you can meet our staff. Before I start, I want to say thank you to the PIO staff. Jared did a fabulous job with this, and you'll see how talented these folks are, and we just really appreciate all the support that Sally and her team provides our office. After
NC Cooperative Extension is part of a land-grant university system which includes NC State University and NC A&T State University. Located in all 100 counties, each extension office focuses on 3 major program areas: agriculture, 4-H and youth development, and family and consumer sciences. Let's hear from the staff at Cooperative Extension as they share a little about their careers in agriculture.
Hello, my name is Liz Lottie, and I'm the Livestock Extension Agent in Cumberland County. That means I get to work with farmers who raise animals like sheep, goats, cows, pigs, chickens, and horses. I get to go out to farms and teach people how to take care of their animals and their land. Another thing I get to do is I work with soldiers from Fort Bragg to teach them about agriculture, which will help them when they're deployed. Something else I do is I work with middle schools and high schools that have agricultural classes and FFA.
Hello, I'm Kenny Bailey, Commercial Horticulture Extension Agent with the Cumberland County Center of North Carolina Cooperative Extension. When I come to work, I have the opportunity to work with and help the fruit and vegetable farmers in the area, as well as the nursery people who grow landscape plants and turf grass. I also am the pesticide coordinator, which means that I provide education to our pesticide applicators and those who need to acquire and maintain a pesticide license for their business. In addition to this, I also work with the county's beekeepers. I teach a beginning beekeeping course, and in addition to that, I also provide information to pond owners.
Cooperative Extension also has a field crops agent that provides technical assistance to farmers that grow tobacco, soybeans, corn, and grain crops. From crop scouting to identifying solutions to pests and weed concerns, this agent works hand in hand with our county's farmers. Next, let's take a look at 4-H and youth development career opportunities. While 4-H provides youth with opportunities to learn about agriculture, gardening, and cooking, they also provide so much more.
Hello, I'm Jessica Drake, and I'm the 4-H Youth Development Agent in Cumberland County. My job is to empower youth to be the best that they can be. In fact, our motto is making the best better. We have programs spanning from cooking and robotics, leadership development, to gardening. No matter where youth's interests lie, our programs teach life skills that will serve our young people for the rest of their lives. All of our programs allow youth to learn by doing. While our roots are in agriculture, we hope to inspire the next generation of engaged community leaders in all areas.
Hello, my name is Martina Fortune, and I am the 4-H Program Assistant for Military Clubs at Fort Bragg. Living in a military community, we have a lot of young people that come to our county that wants to be involved in 4-H. Each day, I get to support military clubs by providing resources and training to staff members, and also a wide variety of programming to the youth at Fort Bragg.
Finally, let's learn about the Family and Consumer Sciences careers through Cooperative Extension.
Hi, I'm Candy Underwood, and I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences Agent here in Cumberland County. And my job centers around food. I help people make nutritious meals as well as help it taste good. I also go into the schools here in Cumberland County and teach kids about healthy eating and the importance of physical activity. Lately, a lot of people are wanting to grow their own food, and then that makes them want to learn how to preserve their food. So I teach classes on canning and freezing as well. So if you'd like to learn more about Family and Consumer Sciences, feel free to give me a call.
Didn't they do a fabulous job? Jared did a great job. Thank you again.
You got candy apples up underneath there, don't you?
That's right.
Each one of us getting one.
That is right. Somehow, let's see, current slide. There we go. All right. So just a few extra points that I wanted to mention from the video. One of our largest program areas is consumer horticulture. So we get thousands of calls from citizens that say, why is my tree dying? Why is my grass dying? How do I get rid of these fire ants? When's the best time to plant a tree? So we get lots of those questions. And with having a small team, it would be very difficult to outreach to so many folks. So we have 78 master gardeners. They volunteer in our community at least 10,000 hours a year, in non-COVID times, of course, but we couldn't do it without those volunteers. We also house the Cumberland County Agricultural Hall of Fame. Each November, the Kiwanis Club of Fayetteville and Cooperative Extension partner to provide a Farm City event. We invite you all to attend. This year, we will induct Alfred Davenport as our 2020 recipient, and we'll also be inducting the 2021 recipient. This is a time for us to recognize someone that's made a significant contribution to agriculture. Also, you heard about our 4-H and youth development program. We serve about 600 kids annually. And just as Jessica said on the video, it's all about developing those life skills and those leadership skills. And with 4-H, we couldn't do it without those volunteers. They are priceless. So when COVID struck, what do? We had to continue the type of services that our public demand, but just at a distance. So we were able to provide 163 virtual educational programs reaching over 22,000 people. Many of those were using the Zoom platform. We provided embryology. Embryology is when we show young people the life cycle of a chick. And typically we would go in a classroom and do this, but we were able to do this via Facebook Live, and we reached over 20,000 people. So it was a great opportunity for us to be able to do that. We held statewide virtual wheat series for farmers. We had gardening symposiums. We had youth academies. We have participated in the library youth academies. We also provided opportunities for young people that didn't have access to broadband or had issues with internet, giving them some science opportunities and kits to do at home. And many of the classes that we provide can be seen on our news channel, the county's new channel. As Dr. Green mentioned, I cannot express how much Dr. Green and her team have just been so fabulous to work with. We were able to partner in outreach to all agriculture. Every farmer that we could identify, we reached out to them and also their farm workers to ensure that that population received the vaccine if they so wish to receive it. At this point, as she mentioned, we're looking at those H-2A workers that are coming in to our county to provide that summer workforce, and so making sure that those folks, as they arrive in our county, if they so want the vaccine, we'll make sure that happens. And her team has just been fabulous in making sure that that process is so easy for them. We've also distributed thousands of masks and hand sanitizer, and so it's just been a great partnership between Cooperative Extension and the Health Department. So looking ahead, where are we going to go? What are some goals we have for Cooperative Extension? Well, of course, we're going to continue to outreach the COVID vaccine for our agricultural community and those farm workers. We want to provide a hybrid approach to our educational programs. While we want to continue some virtual, our customers demand that face-to-face, so we want to be able to try and do both. We want to foster community partnerships to try to get more 4-H and youth development opportunities for those underserved populations. We also want to align with the Cumberland County strategic goals. We want you to be able to use the resources at NC State and North Carolina A&T for those broadband concerns, water concerns. If there's resources at the university that we can help facilitate, we are happy to do that. And provide relevant, high-quality programming content for our news channel. We want to continue to do that. And last but not least, access to local foods. We all know that our community has areas of food deserts or food insecurity. And so we want to see where cooperative extension can play a role in that. One small tool is the Visit NC Farms app. This is the first time it's been unveiled, so I want to present this to you. This is in Cumberland County now. So after today's meeting, take out your smartphone, download the Visit NC Farms app. It's a free app. Once you download the app, anytime you want to locate fresh corn, blueberries, strawberries, whatever you want, you type that item into the space bar, and you will then be able to search. It'll show you all the farms in the county that sell those items. So this is one resource that we feel that will be a great resource for our citizens, and we're excited to be able to offer that. So with that, thank you for your continued support of cooperative extension programs. Come visit us, call us. We do send out a monthly newsletter, and we also have a very active social media out there, so feel free to join us on social media as well, and thank you for your time.
Ms. Childress, thank you for your time for coming over and all the work that you do. We appreciate you greatly.
Thank you.
Madam Manager.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Just real quickly, since you're now getting back with everybody and everything, do you think there's enough of a county-wide want or need or anything like that, that there would be a viability for a Cumberland County farmers market?
So that has certainly been something we have talked about over the years. Several years ago, we did a feasibility study to determine that, and it did come back that absolutely this county can support several farmers markets. Since then, we have seen lots of markets pop up. You've got pop-up markets. You've also got privately run markets that are doing very, very well.
Have you been to the one at Dirtbag Ales?
That is a very popular market, and what we have found is that the markets that surround themselves around sort of almost a community event,
That's right.
they are the most successful. And so can we look at a farmer's market for Cumberland County? Absolutely, we can continue to look at that. And I appreciate you asking that question, because that is something we want to make available as more access to local foods in our community.
Yeah, they had over 1,200 people there last weekend, and they were parking in the Walmart distribution overflow parking lot and walking down that road to get to it. It was crazy.
Wonderful to see that.
Commissioner Booth, thank you. Commissioner Keith.
One of the things I think that there may be an opportunity with, and I don't know what success looks like on this, but we have all the farmers around in our community. By and large, we don't think about it so much because we're many times in the middle of an urban setting. But is there any sort of co-op to where farmers can come and bring their product so consumers in the city can go and consistently be able to do that? I think it would help the local farmers. It would also help the citizens have access to healthier food, and possibly being able to help out with some of these food insecurities that we have, that maybe alternative forms of payment or some sort could be used at that co-op.
We don't have one based right here in Cumberland County. We do have them in surrounding counties, and they do deliver here locally, and some of our farmers do provide produce to them. Yes, that is a very innovative way to look at how we can get local foods to folks. And do they accept other forms of payments? Most of our farmers markets will accept all forms of payment. So that's a definite benefit. In terms of a co-op, that is definitely something that you have to have a lot of buy-in from your farming folks, because they have to be willing to do that and negotiate on price, location, pickup. So it takes a lot of time and thought to get that put together. But Jimmy, I think that's a great, Commissioner Keefe, that's a great idea and something that we should look forward to in the future.
Yeah, that would be exciting. One last thing. Tell us something that people may not know about agriculture in Cumberland County.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that we have such a vast amount of agriculture in the county. I think when you ride through Cumberland County, you don't automatically think agriculture, but we have a great deal. It's a very viable industry. Our number one industry here, commodity-wise, is soybean. We produce about 19,000 acres of soybean. We're 11th in the nation in Cumberland, in North Carolina, for the production of sweet potatoes. So when you go to a restaurant and you eat sweet potatoes, it was probably grown right here in Cumberland County. We do very well in our livestock production. We're 11th in the state in production of turkeys. And we produce over 4 million birds in terms of broilers and turkeys in our county. So we have a very viable industry here that we should all be very proud of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any more comments or questions? Again, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Madam Manager,
Yes, sir. Item number 3 is your consent agenda.
are there any items to be removed from the agenda?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to move items 3G and 3H.
Are there any others? Is there a motion?
Yes. I move to
Yes.
approve.
Commissioner,
The exception
Commissioner
of
Council.
those two.
And I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Unanimous?
Thank you. Commissioner Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is, again, one of the things that we do when we have surplus property and individuals come and bid on this property and we sell them. For 2 times in a row, we have people bidding on properties with the recommendation that they're able to purchase this property and they owe delinquent taxes. This has happened again on this one. We talked about it last time, and I know that it's coming up on an agenda, but I kind of feel like we brought the subject up at the last meeting, and now I don't think it was purposeful, but it almost seems like we're trying to get underneath the timeline on this. So I'm going to recommend that we do not accept items 3G and 3H for acceptance because of delinquent taxes from the person who is purchasing.
And Commissioner Keefe, would that be a form
That,
of
in the form of a motion, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Any comments, questions?
I would,
Are there any comments?
yeah, I just got a question for the county attorney. In terms of the policy, make sure we don't violate the policy. Is that one of the things, or do we just need to postpone it until after we have our agenda setting conference? I'm just trying to figure
That will be on the next, the agenda session this month. It is not a current policy, but it is on up for consideration this month.
That's, my question is the better way to do this is, because I don't want to get sued by saying we violated something that's never been done before. So in terms of rejecting them, Mr. Keefe, is to whether to postpone them until another meeting. That's what I'm asking, Mr. No, I'm not. I'm just asking the attorney.
You bring up a valid point.
I'm asking the attorney. So
The board reserves the right on all these to reject any bids.
okay, that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion would state that items G and H on the consent agenda be postponed until the,
Actually, be disapproved.
excuse me?
Not postponed.
Okay.
So
It'll
he-
be-
I'm sorry.
Mr. Attorney,
He's taking
that
reject.
motion will be read as,
I don't think I understood. I thought you were just taking these off and not taking action on them. I didn't know what the motion
okay,
was.
so there's no need for a motion.
Well, he was rejecting them. He was taking action on them. That's why I asked you the question.
Okay.
His motion was to reject.
Okay.
And mine was, the question was whether that was something we need to do or postpone it till we get a policy. The
Right.
question I would ask, Mr. Keefe, is did we check to make sure the rest of these people we just did on consent don't have delinquent taxes? I just want to be
Well,
even across the board.
I did.
Oh, you did, okay. All right, good.
Mr. Chair, I would like to amend my motion to
don't-
table items G and H for 30 days.
Is there a second to the?
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
That is unanimous.
Thank you, board.
With the consent agenda now approved, the chairman would like to read the proclamation designating May 2021 as Drug Court Month.
At this time, I would like to ask Ms. Caroline Melvin, interim pretrial director, as well as Mr. Alvin Chestnut, sobriety court coordinator, to join me up front.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. Just to take it off when I get done.
Let me see here.
I want you to fix it once in a while.
I got Glenn to keep me straight.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah, no, it was right, it's good.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, let me thank you both for what you do to improve the lives of those that have made some missteps here in our county. For that, we all are grateful. And if you don't mind, I'm going to take my mask off to read this proclamation. Cumberland County, North Carolina, proclamation. Whereas Drug Treatment Court, DTC, uses a team of court and community professionals to help ensure that offenders who are addicted to drugs and or alcohol receive the intensive treatment they need to become healthy, law-abiding, and productive family and community members. And whereas drug courts combine intensive judicial supervision, mandatory substance use treatment, and drug testing and escalating sanctions and incentives in order to break the cycle of drug addiction and its committed crime. And whereas the judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, treatment and rehabilitation professionals, law enforcement and correctional personnel, researchers and educators, national community leaders, and others dedicate to the movement have a profound impact through hard work and commitment to their communities. And whereas drug courts have been restoring lives and families for more than 3 decades and are the cornerstone of criminal justice reform sweeping the nation. And whereas drug courts are now recognized as the most successful criminal justice intervention in our nation's history, significantly improving substance abuse treatment outcomes, substantially reduce substance abuse and crime, and do so at less expensive than any other criminal justice strategy. Now, therefore, we, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Drug Court Month in Cumberland County, North Carolina, and commend its observance to all citizens. Adopted the 3rd day of May 2021, signed by Cumberland County Board of Commissioners Chairman Charles Evans. I'd like to present that to you as well. I also have the honor of presenting to you this proclamation from the state of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, Governor. Drug Court Month 2021 by the Governor of the state of North Carolina, a proclamation. Whereas Drug Treatment Court, DTC, uses a team of court and community professionals to help ensure that offenders who are addicted to drugs and or alcohol receive the intensive treatment they need to become healthy, law-abiding, and productive family and community members. And whereas drug treatment courts have been restoring lives and families for more than 3 decades, there are more than 4,000 treatment courts nationwide that have served an estimate of 1.5 million individuals. And whereas drug treatment courts can significantly improve substance use disorder treatment outcomes, substantially reduce addiction and related crimes, and do so at less expensive than other criminal justice strategies. And whereas treatment courts facilitate community-wide partnerships, bringing together public safety and public health professionals. And whereas there are currently 26 counties across North Carolina where there are operational adult drug treatment courts. And whereas the state of North Carolina recognizes the vital contributions and reforms that drug treatment courts have brought to our justice system. Now, therefore, Roy Cooper, Governor of the state of North Carolina, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Drug Court Month in North Carolina and commend its service to all citizens. This is signed by Roy Cooper, Governor. Again, thank you both for all that you do for the improvement of lives of those that have made missteps here in Cumberland County. I and the board do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Madam Manager.
Yes, sir. Item number 4, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we have several public hearings, as you know, that were recessed at your prior meeting, April 19th, 2021. The first one being approval of the submission of the program year 2021 Community Development Annual Action Plan. If you have any questions, we have Devin Newton that's standing in for Dee Taylor. At your April 19th meeting, I believe Ms. Taylor provided a presentation.
Okay, I would like to reconvene the public hearing and ask the clerk, are there any further comments have been received?
No further comments were submitted.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Commissioner
Oh,
Council.
I was ready for a motion. That's all right.
Okay, are there any questions for this young lady? Okay. We close the public hearing. Matt,
I move
Commissioner
that we
Council.
approve the submission of the program year 2021 Community Development Annual Action Plan.
There was a motion by Commissioner Council and a second by Vice Chairman Glenn Adams. Is there, let's call for the vote. All in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, item 4B leads us to our uncontested rezoning cases, case P2117, and again, this was an item that was recessed from the April 19th meeting.
Reconvene the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any further comments that have been received?
No further comments have been received.
Close the public hearing. Are there any questions or discussions? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve since it's
In case
uncontested.
P21-17, no, I don't know. I got it mixed up.
Commissioner Lancaster had the
Okay.
motion.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Motion to approve since it's uncontested. I'm not reading all that unless it's necessary.
It's necessary.
Yeah, well, you read it then.
Oh, my goodness. In case P21-17, I move to approve the rezoning request from CP Plan Commercial and C2P Plan Service and Retail to CP Plan Commercial and finds the request consistent with the Southwest Cumberland Land Use Plan of 2013 designation of heavy commercial. The heavy commercial designation is designed to provide for shopping needs of the immediate neighborhood and traveling public and is usually located at major intersections. Approval of the request is reasonable and in the public interest as the district requested is in harmony with surrounding existing land uses and zoning, and the site is located at a heavily trafficked intersection.
Thank you for the motion. Is there a second?
Thank
Commissioner,
you. I'll second that.
Commissioner Lancaster, thank you for the second. All in favor?
Unanimous.
Item 4C and D are street naming. 4C is street naming 0475.
We reconvene the public hearing for items 4C and item 4D. And Madam Clerk, are there any comments?
There were no further comments received on either case.
Thank you. Close the public hearing. Are there any questions or discussions? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I would recommend approval of the street name changes in SN 0475 and SN 0477.
Mr. Vice Chair, thank you. Is there,
Second.
and second, Commissioner Council, all in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you. Madam Manager?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, this morning we have one item of business. This was moved forward from your April 19th meeting. Since it's an ordinance change, since it was not unanimous, it must be read again. Is consideration of Amendment Section 605, Holidays of the Cumberland County Personnel Ordinance. Mr. Moorfield.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this is the, as the manager stated, this is the second reading of this amendment to Section 605 because the first reading at the last meeting was not voted on by everyone. And the language, the full amendment is set out in the agenda package, but it is to amend Article 6, Section 605 of the Cumberland County Personnel Ordinance as indicated to state the county shall observe the same holidays as the state of North Carolina. In addition, all eligible employees can take one additional floating holiday to be taken during the course of a calendar year. All full-time or part-time employees with benefits and a pay status the day before the holiday shall be eligible, and it gives the authority to the county manager shall develop and implement holiday pay administration procedures consistent with applicable federal and state laws.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Is there any questions or discussion? Yes, Mr. Vice Chair.
I would recommend the amendments to Section 605 of the Personnel Ordinance to be approved to make the ordinance consistent with the board's action and payroll policy.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, discussion.
Just real quick,
Yes,
I'd
Commissioner
like to
Booth.
thank my fellow commissioners for having the, I believe, national foresight to really kind of jump out on the forefront of this. But as I read it again, I don't see that it changed anything for or against race, religion, culture, gender, fluid gender, multicultural, multiracial. It just added a holiday. So I thought we really had a chance to, you know, pick up a Yom Kippur or a Buddha holiday, or I mean, I think we missed the target. So
We did.
Are there any additional comments or questions? If not, all in favor?
Voting in favor, Chairman Evans, Vice Chairman Adams, Commissioners Lancaster, Stewart, and Council. Voting in opposition, Commissioners Booth and Keith.
Thank you.
Item
Madam
number.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Madam Manager, sorry.
You have one nomination this morning for the Senior Citizens Advisory Commission, 4 vacancies.
Mr.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Vice Chair.
To those nominations to the Senior Citizens Advisory Commission, I would nominate Willie Wright. He completed this, he's not eligible to be reappointed, so it'll be Pamela Collins, Donald Bennett, who is eligible for reappointment, Nettie Hayes Miller, who is eligible for reappointment, and Reva McNair, who has volunteered and asked, and she's eligible for reappointment.
fantastic. Is there any other nominations? If not, we'll go to the appointments, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I would nominate Robert Van Giens for reappointment to the Southeastern Economic Development Commission.
Is there a second?
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Unanimous.
Our next item is a closed session, Mr. Chairman. It's an attorney-client matter pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 143, 318, 11A3.
Can we get a motion?
Second.
I'll make the
I
motion.
mean, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Is
I'll
there a
second,
motion?
I'll second Dr. Council.
Was there a motion?
She made the motion.
Okay,
I made the motion.
okay. And there's a second by Commissioner Booth. All in favor?
Unanimous.
that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Participate in this process.
What you do to keep yourself healthy helps keep your neighbor, your friends, your relatives, helps keep them healthy.
Allows me to be more in control of my life, less fearful. Doesn't mean I won't wear a mask, I will.
If we take it seriously, we can be past the horrors of 2020.
If you have a spot, take your shot.
You have a spot?
Take your shot.
You have a special spot, so please take your shot.
You have a spot.
Take your shot.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it, so do your part and stay home. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit social gatherings. If you need essential items like food and medicine, try using a delivery service. If you must leave your house for essential items, or if you want to take a walk for exercise, make sure to wear a cloth face covering. Stay at least 6 feet away from other people.
What if we start to think about cancer differently, at the beginning? In this special issue of Pediatrics, we invite you to learn more about early life factors that contribute to a person's lifetime cancer risk, about opportunities for preventing cancer from the beginning, as early as the prenatal period, infancy, and throughout childhood. Let's talk about how we can consider cancer causes and prevention now, at the beginning of the lifespan, not only at the middle or the end. This issue will inform and engage pediatricians, policymakers, and families in discussions about cancer prevention.
This is an important message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Has your home recently experienced flooding after a hurricane or other natural disaster? If you have a weakened immune system, you may be at risk for becoming seriously ill from mold. People with weakened immune systems include those who have had a transplant, are getting chemotherapy for cancer, or are taking medications that weaken the immune system. Don't enter buildings with mold damage if you have a weakened immune system or breathing problem like asthma. If you have a weakened immune system and need to clean mold in an indoor area, wear a properly fitted NIOSH-approved N95 mask or one that provides even more protection. Also wear gloves and goggles. You may see or smell mold on furniture, carpeting, or other items that have been wet for more than 24 hours. Assume mold is present, even if it's not visible. Completely dry everything. Clean up the mold and repair any damage. Talk with your healthcare provider if you've recently been exposed to mold and have symptoms that aren't getting better with treatment. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/mold.
When the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, you'll ask yourself, how prepared or unprepared are you? Have you removed objects from over the bed and over your head? Anchored your possessions securely to the wall. It won't be a pain, and you're not doing it in vain. Are your emergency kits packed? What about your family, your friends? Do they know what to do, how to get in touch, and where to meet? Do you know how to drop, cover, and hold on, covering your head and neck? What if you're outside? Or in a car? After the shaking stops, look around. Figure out what to do. Stay away from damaged areas. Turn on a radio. Reach out for help. And if you're trapped, do not move about. Stay calm. Only shout as a last resort. Once everything and everyone is safe, get prepared. An aftershock could be on its way. So before the earth shakes, the ground moves, and things start to fall, get prepared. Make a plan. Practice what you know, because an earthquake can happen anytime, anywhere. You never know.
A man was critically injured following a crash early Friday morning. Officers at the scene said the victim was driving a pickup truck when he lost control of the vehicle. The pickup veered left and went into a ditch. A front seat passenger was wearing a seatbelt and escaped the crash without injury. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the truck. He died at the scene. Law enforcement writes tickets to save lives.
You'll never catch me, space fools! He's getting away!
Not so fast.
What are we waiting on?
You forgot to buckle your space seatbelt. And if you don't buckle up, you could face a fine up to $179.
Right.
Remember, friends, whether you're the passenger or the driver, it's click it or ticket.
Space Squad!
Operation Lifesaver reminds professional drivers, including cement, dump, and garbage truck drivers, to stay alert when crossing railroad tracks. Due to the weight of your vehicle, you should take extra precautions when approaching and crossing railroad tracks to avoid a devastating crash that could derail a train. However, with the proper rail safety education, you can stay safe and help others stay safe too. What actions should you take at a highway rail grade crossing? First of all, approach crossings with care. For those trucks required by law to stop at crossings because they're transporting hazardous materials, start by using four-way flashers and pull-out lanes if available. Turn off fans, radio, and other distractions. Watch and listen to your surroundings. Be sure to use mirrors to see around your truck. While stopped, look carefully in both directions for approaching trains before you cross. Make sure you can see around obstructions such as mirrors and windshield pillars. If your truck doesn't fit, don't commit. Be sure there is enough room on either side of the tracks for your entire vehicle. Trains overhang the tracks, so for safety, leave at least 15 feet between the rear of your vehicle and the nearest rail. Do not try to beat a train. Trains cannot stop quickly. Be patient and wait. Use the highest gear that allows you to cross the tracks without having to shift midway. If the red lights begin to flash after you start across the tracks, keep going and don't stop. As a professional driver, what signs and signals should you understand at crossings? An advance warning sign warns of a crossing ahead. A crossbuck sign instructs you to yield to a train. The painted stop line before the tracks indicates where to stop. A multi-track sign warns of more than one set of tracks at a crossing. When used, this sign is placed just below the crossbuck at a crossing, and it tells you the number of tracks to expect at that location. Flashing red light signals mean a train is approaching, and you must stop. Gates and flashing red lights mean a train is approaching. Do not drive around them. A hump crossing sign means a low vehicle could get hung up on the tracks. A yellow diamond-shaped parallel track sign means there is a railroad crossing immediately after making a turn. Now, let's imagine your vehicle stalls or hangs up on the tracks. What then? Get out of your vehicle, even if you do not see a train. If a train is approaching, get out and run towards the train, but away from the tracks at a 45-degree angle to avoid debris from the collision. If there is no train approaching, get out. Locate the emergency notification system sign and call the phone number on the sign to report your problem. Stay safe and help others stay safe around tracks and trains when you use increased attention when crossing railroad tracks. Recognize and obey signs and signals, and act appropriately in the event of a stalled, stuck, or hung up vehicle on the tracks. For more information, visit our website at www.oli.org. Note, local and state laws may be more restrictive than the reminders contained in this video.
Motion to come out of closed session. All in favor?
Unanimous.
Tha- 1 second, Commissioner and Council. And we will take that in just a second. At this time, we have some great people that work with us and work for this county, and I'm so grateful to everyone that does that give us their time and energies. And also, these people also have life. There's a number of individuals that have celebrated birthdays, and we would like to recognize those people. Our clerk, Ms. White, celebrated her birthday along with our county attorney last Saturday, I believe it was. I hear that Commissioner Booth celebrated a birthday recently. And as of yesterday, our county manager celebrated a birthday.
Happy 39th, Amy.
Happy 39th.
I hope I didn't overlook anyone. Yes, Commissioner Adams?
Miss Cindy Tucker had hers this weekend too. That works, which is hers was Saturday.
Happy
The
29th,
administrative for the manager.
Fantastic. Cindy Tucker. Is there anyone that I omitted?
Mine was in March.
Yours was in March.
I'm sure we got a photo of it.
Happy birthday.
And
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
And Commissioner Adams, our Vice Chair, thank you for having another birthday.
I'm glad I made it through COVID, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
And please, if anyone know of any birthdays before our meetings, please let me know, because I think the birthday is the most celebrated time of life for each of us. We all should be recognized on our birthdays. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Unanimous.
This meeting is now adjourned.